A nurse who witnessed something terrible involving your sister is now desperately searching for a way to reach you. Archangel Michael says, from the very first moment you see these words, know that it is not a coincidence. The heavens have pushed this message into your hands because something crucial, something buried in silence, is trying to break free. There is a story unfolding around your sister, one that has been locked away, but now, truth claws its way into the light. It began in a place meant for healing, a hospital where secrets are usually covered by sterile walls and whispered corridors. There, in a room where no one thought the outside world would hear, something unspeakable occurred. A nurse, working late, found herself the unwilling witness to a scene she cannot erase from her mind. Every day since, she has carried the weight of what she saw. It is not just guilt that gnaws at her, it is fear, confusion, and a desperate need to do what is right. She has tried many times to reach you, to tell you what she knows, but every attempt has been met with interference, as if unseen forces are working to keep this truth buried. Archangel Michael says, the veil over your sister's story is thin now, ready to be torn apart. What was hidden in the dark will find its way to you. But you must be prepared for the storm of emotions that will come with it, because once you know, you cannot unknow. Your sister, her life has been touched by something far from ordinary. That night, within the hospital's cold, silent hallways, decisions were made that changed everything. The nurse saw people enter a room they weren't supposed to. She heard voices filled with urgency and fear. And then, something happened, something that left your sister in a condition that no medical report has dared to fully explain. The nurse stood frozen in the shadows, listening, watching, heart pounding. She wanted to step forward, to stop what was happening, but fear held her still. When it was over, she knew that nothing would ever be the same again. She tried to speak up to her superiors, but they warned her to stay quiet. They told her that she misunderstood, that it wasn't what it seemed. But her instincts, her eyes, told a different story. And now, she has only one thought: she must tell you, the only person who can uncover the truth and bring peace to your sister. Archangel Michael says, the nurse's path is not easy. She is hunted by doubt and shadowed by those who wish her silence. But her courage burns bright, and that courage is reaching you now, through this message, through the threads of divine guidance pulling you closer to answers you deserve. Weeks have passed since that terrible night. Your sister has been living unaware of the full danger that once surrounded her. The nurse has kept watch from afar, trying to protect her in quiet ways, shielding her from further harm. But every day that passes makes her feel the urgency pressing harder against her chest. She has left messages with people you know, written notes that were somehow lost, even tried to approach you directly, but someone or something always interferes. It's as if the darkness that caused that night's event still lingers, desperate to silence anyone who might reveal what truly happened. The nurse does not seek recognition or gratitude. She seeks only justice, only healing for your sister and for you. And though her steps are heavy with fear, she moves forward because her conscience will not allow her to turn away. Archangel Michael says, I am guiding her hands, strengthening her voice. She is not alone in this. And neither are you. The truth is a light, and even the deepest shadows cannot forever withstand its power. She remembers every detail, the sound of hushed arguments in the hospital room, the moment she saw an unfamiliar figure holding something meant to harm, not heal. She remembers your sister's frightened eyes, her quiet pleas. She remembers how everything changed when that figure left, leaving behind a silence too loud to ignore. But what happened didn't just end that night. It has continued to ripple through your sister's life, changing paths, and closing doors she didn't even realize were connected to that moment. The nurse has watched from a distance, helpless to undo the damage, but determined to someday find a way to speak to you directly. That day is near. You are feeling it even now, a strange heaviness in your chest, a sense that something important is circling closer, trying to reach you. That is no coincidence. It is the pull of truth, carried by divine hands, breaking through every barrier set against it. Archangel Michael says, "The universe bends when justice calls." It cannot ignore what was done in secret. And now, the moment of revelation approaches. The nurse's silence will end, and your ears will hear the words meant for you since that terrible night. Time has only sharpened her memory, making every detail clearer. She knows faces, overheard names, saw documents hurriedly hidden. She knows who gave the order, who carried it out, and who swore everyone to silence afterward. But more importantly, she knows how close your sister came to losing everything that night. The fact that she survived at all is a miracle, one touched by unseen protection, by forces greater than human hands. And yet, survival is not enough. The truth must be spoken, or the danger remains unfinished. This nurse has risked everything, her job, her safety, her peace of mind, to keep watch and wait for the right moment. That moment is now. She has finally found a thread connecting her to you, a way to send the message that has weighed on her heart since that night. Archangel Michael says, "You must listen." The message you are about to receive is not one of idle words. It is the key to understanding, to protecting, to healing wounds unseen but deeply felt. It is your sister's story finally breaking free. Even as you read this, unseen forces stir. The ones who caused that terrible night do not want this truth revealed. They have tried to frighten the nurse, to keep you both apart, to bury the past forever. But no amount of darkness can silence a soul burning with righteous purpose. Archangel Michael says, "Hold steady." A storm of revelation approaches, but you are not alone. I stand beside you, sword drawn, wings unfurled, ready to shield you and your sister as the truth emerges from darkness into unshakable light. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, "The moment you think you've reached the end of this message, understand that it is only the beginning of what must be told. There is more, a deeper, darker thread to this story that the nurse has struggled to carry alone. You deserve to know everything." The nurse hasn't simply been hiding in fear. She has been watched. The same individuals who caused your sister's suffering have been keeping close tabs on her. They know she witnessed too much that night. Every time she tried to speak, they tightened their grip, leaving her isolated and terrified. She was threatened, cornered in hospital parking lots, warned that if she ever mentioned your sister's name again, her life would be destroyed. But even under this shadow of fear, she never gave up. Night after night, she's prayed for courage, for a way to bring the truth safely to you. One night, alone in her small apartment, she heard a voice, not earthly, but divine. It told her that the time of silence was ending. She saw visions of feathers and a brilliant sword of light cutting through the darkness. The next morning, she woke with renewed strength. She knew she was not alone. That was the first time she wrote your name on a piece of paper. She didn't know you personally but was guided by something higher. Every lead she found pointed to you. The divine made sure her steps would eventually cross yours. That moment has drawn nearer with every day that has passed. Archangel Michael says, when divine justice sets its course, no threat, no power of man can halt its arrival. This nurse is my vessel of truth. Her trembling hands are guided by my own. Her voice will not be silenced anymore. There's more that you must know. That night in the hospital wasn't random. Your sister was specifically targeted. Certain people stood to gain by keeping her weak, by ensuring she could not speak her own truth. And while outwardly it appeared to be just another medical procedure gone wrong, the nurse saw the real intention behind it. The people involved had influence, connections that reached into places you'd never imagine. That is why no official report ever told the full story. That is why every attempt to dig for answers seemed to hit a dead end. But now, their web of lies is unraveling, thread by thread. The nurse holds a piece of evidence no one else has seen. Something hidden, smuggled out of that hospital under immense risk. This evidence alone can expose everything. It can prove who is guilty, what they did, and how they tried to hide it. She has kept it safe for this very moment. Days from now, she will try once more to meet you. Unlike the past attempts that failed, this one is divinely protected. Nothing will stop her this time, not fear, not threats, not the hands of those who think they can silence truth forever. When she finally stands before you, her words will pierce the veil of confusion that has surrounded your sister's suffering for so long. You will feel in your heart that this is the missing piece you've been searching for. And from that moment on, your sister's path will begin to change. Archangel Michael says, this is not just about unveiling pain, it is about healing it. Once the truth is spoken, protection will flow like a river, washing away the schemes set against your family. This is a divine promise. Your sister has sensed this change without fully understanding it. She's felt restless, waking in the middle of the night as if someone is whispering her name. She's felt unseen eyes watching over her, not in malice, but in protection. That is the nurse's silent presence, and my angelic shield surrounding her. You, too, have felt moments of unexplained heaviness. Times where you thought of your sister suddenly, your heart aching for reasons you couldn't name. Those were signals. Echoes of what was coming. Heaven has been aligning events so that when the truth finally reaches you, you will be ready to act. This will not be easy. Shadows do not fade quietly. Once you know what the nurse reveals, you will have to make choices, whether to confront those responsible, whether to bring this story to light for the world to see. But make no mistake, you will have the strength to do it. Archangel Michael says, even now, as you read, I am placing my hand upon your shoulder. I am filling your spirit with courage stronger than fear, light brighter than shadow. You were chosen to hear this truth because you will not run from it. You will rise and protect. The nurse is making her final preparations. She has written everything down, every detail of what she saw. She has copies of evidence hidden in places only she knows. If anything happens to her before she reaches you, that evidence will still find its way into your hands. The divine has seen to that. But it is not just information she brings, it is also a plea. A plea to forgive herself for not acting sooner that night. A plea to not let her fear make her silent forever. Most importantly, a plea for your sister's future, so she can finally live without the shadow of that night haunting her. When the meeting happens, it may be brief but unforgettable. Perhaps it will be in a crowded place where no one would think to look, or perhaps under the stillness of dawn when few are awake. Regardless of where, you will recognize the weight of destiny when it happens. The nurse's first words will feel like keys unlocking doors you didn't know existed. Her voice may shake, but her truth will land like thunder. And when you leave that meeting, nothing about your understanding of the past will remain the same. Archangel Michael says, your next steps are crucial. Do not dismiss what you hear. Act with wisdom, act with faith. What was stolen in the dark can only be reclaimed when you face it head-on, with heaven's fire burning behind you. Archangel Michael says, you must understand, child of light, that this is not just a message, it is a divine intervention woven carefully through time itself. Everything you've read so far is only scratching the surface of what truly happened that night. If your heart feels heavy, it is because the truth is pressing harder to be revealed. The nurse has replayed that terrible night in her mind thousands of times. Each sound, each whisper, each chilling moment is carved into her memory. She remembers the scent of antiseptic, the cold glimmer of surgical tools, the muffled cries that no one else seemed to hear. She remembers seeing your sister's face pale with fear, helpless under the weight of those who should have protected her. For so long, the nurse has been burdened by questions. Could she have stopped it? Could she have been braver? But divine guidance has shown her that the moment for action was not then, it is now. The heavens have been holding this truth back, waiting for the appointed time when you would be strong enough to face it and powerful enough to bring justice. That time is here. This is not a story about accidents or mistakes. No, it was deliberate. Certain people used their authority within that hospital for reasons that go far beyond medicine. The nurse witnessed something that revealed a dangerous web of influence surrounding your sister. And though the world has moved on, the same individuals are still out there, believing their secret is safe. But destiny has other plans. The nurse's dreams have been filled with visions of fire cleansing the night, of a great light descending into a hospital room, exposing every lie. These visions were not illusions, they were prophetic warnings sent by higher powers. She now knows she cannot die with this truth hidden in her heart. Archangel Michael says, I have sharpened her courage like a sword. I have wrapped her in angelic armor so that no scheme of darkness can break her. She carries this truth not as a burden anymore, but as a weapon of light that will pierce through every deception. Imagine the moment she finally reaches you, after years of running, hiding, and praying for divine timing. She will stand before you, eyes trembling with the weight of what she has held inside. Her first words will strike like lightning. I saw what they did to your sister. Those words will shatter the silence that has kept your family bound for so long. And then, like a flood, the memories will spill out, the hidden procedures, the wrong hands controlling life and death decisions, the orders given in secrecy. The nurse will hand you documents, photographs, and pieces of evidence that not even the most skilled liar can deny. But you must be ready, for once this truth is known, there will be attempts to stop you. Already, forces that wish to keep this hidden are stirring, sensing that divine light is approaching. They may try to twist the story, to turn you against those who seek to help. Yet, Archangel Michael says, no enemy, no darkness, can stand against a soul armed with truth and heaven's shield. I will guard you as you step into battle for your sister's freedom and for the justice that has long been denied. The nurse's journey is proof that courage can survive even in the most suffocating fear. For years, she has been stalked by shadows, her every move watched. But each threat only strengthened her resolve. With every attempt to silence her, divine power whispered louder, guiding her toward this moment. Your sister has carried invisible scars from that night. Scars no doctor can see, no scan can detect. They appear in her moments of sudden fear, in her quiet struggles to trust, in the unspoken pain she hides from you and from herself. The nurse knows this pain because she has witnessed it grow, unable to stop it, but not anymore. Once the truth is spoken, healing will begin. It will not happen overnight, but slowly, like a dawn breaking over a long night. For the first time, your sister will understand why she has felt haunted, why her path seemed unfairly burdened. Knowledge will bring liberation, and justice will bring peace. The divine has already set events in motion to ensure this meeting cannot be stopped. You may notice strange alignments in your life, unexpected encounters, dreams that feel too real to ignore, sudden feelings urging you to be in certain places at certain times. These are not coincidences, they are angelic breadcrumbs leading you to the nurse. Archangel Michael says, your feet are being guided, your eyes sharpened, your spirit prepared. Nothing will be able to keep this revelation from reaching you, for heaven itself has declared that it must happen. And when it does, you will not be alone. Even if the world turns against you, angels will walk beside you, unseen but fiercely present. Their swords will clash against any darkness that dares to rise. This is not only about exposing a hidden crime, it is about transforming pain into divine strength, ensuring your sister's destiny is not controlled by those who harmed her. For years, the nurse believed she had failed that night. But heaven sees failure differently. Her silence was not cowardice, it was the seed of timing planted for a greater victory. Every moment of delay was part of a celestial plan to ensure that when the truth came out, it could never be buried again. Even now, the nurse writes her final testimony, every word carrying divine weight. She seals it, knowing it is not just a letter, it is a key to freedom, a shield for your sister, and a sword for you to wield against deception. Archangel Michael says, take courage, for what is coming is not the end, it is the beginning of justice long denied. When you stand in the light of truth, even the highest walls of corruption will fall before you. Archangel Michael says, do not think that the words you've heard so far are enough to capture the full weight of what is unfolding. We have only begun to unravel the divine tapestry that has been hidden for years. The nurse's journey is longer, darker, and far more dangerous than you can yet imagine. From the moment that terrible night ended, the nurse knew her life would never return to normal. She returned home after her shift, hands trembling as she washed away the scent of hospital disinfectant, yet the images of what she saw clung to her like a shadow that refused to let go. She couldn't sleep, every time she closed her eyes, she saw your sister lying helpless, surrounded by people who should have been healers but were instead harbingers of harm. She wanted to scream the truth, to run into the world and shout your sister's name, to demand justice. But within hours, she learned how powerful the forces against her were. Hospital officials came to her apartment, offering her money, then threats, then promises of ruin if she ever spoke. It was clear, someone far more powerful than she imagined was pulling strings from the shadows. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years. The nurse lived like a ghost, moving between cities, changing jobs, always looking over her shoulder. Yet even in exile, her heart remained tied to one mission: finding you and telling you what they tried to bury. Each time she thought she'd found a safe way to reach out, darkness struck. Messages disappeared. Phone calls were intercepted. Letters returned unopened. It was as if an invisible wall stood between her and you. But the divine does not allow truth to die, it only delays it until the appointed hour. That hour is now. Archangel Michael says, the nurse's steps were not wasted. Every tear she shed, every sleepless night, every prayer for courage has been gathered and turned into light. That light now burns a path through every shadow standing between you and the truth. Recently, something shifted. The nurse began receiving signs: an unfamiliar feather on her windowsill, dreams of angelic wings shielding your sister, a voice whispering, "Now is the time." She felt a surge of courage unlike anything before. For the first time, the fear that had kept her silent began to crumble. She returned to the city where it all happened, standing once more outside that hospital. Memories rushed back, almost suffocating her, but divine strength held her upright. From there, she began gathering every shred of evidence she could find: old files, forgotten camera footage, testimonies from others too afraid to speak. What she discovered confirmed her worst fears: your sister had been targeted deliberately, and those responsible thought they had succeeded in hiding it forever. But heaven had preserved every hidden truth like seeds waiting for spring. Those seeds are now blooming, ready to be placed in your hands. Archangel Michael says, you must understand the scale of this revelation. It is not only about what happened to your sister. It is about a network of darkness that has touched many lives, yet has now met the limit of divine mercy. Through your sister's story, heaven will tear down structures of cruelty that have stood for years. The nurse's final plan is dangerous. She knows that those she's exposing will stop at nothing to keep her silent. Already, she has been followed, her home broken into, her friends questioned. Yet she continues forward, guided by visions of angelic warriors standing around her, their swords drawn against unseen enemies. In these final steps, she is moving closer to you than ever before. There is no longer room for coincidence. If you find yourself in unexpected places, meeting unfamiliar faces that seem strangely familiar, understand that divine orchestration is at work. The nurse is closing in, and the message is about to break through. When the moment arrives, you will feel it deep in your spirit, a stillness in the air, as though time itself is holding its breath. The nurse will approach cautiously, her face marked by years of fear and relentless courage. She may speak softly at first, but each word will carry the weight of thunder. I know what they did to your sister, and I can prove everything. Those words will change everything. It will feel as if the ground beneath you shifts, revealing a hidden path you never knew existed. A path toward justice, healing, and divine restoration. The nurse will not only tell you what happened but will hand you the tools to fight back, to protect your sister from any further harm. Archangel Michael says, this battle is not fought with weapons of man, but with courage forged in divine fire. When you hear her words, you will feel that fire ignite within you, burning away fear, strengthening your resolve. You were chosen to carry this truth because you have the strength to see it through to victory. Even now, angelic protection surrounds your sister, keeping her safe from those who once plotted against her. But full safety cannot come until the truth is exposed. Once it is, those who wronged her will face consequences that no human power can escape. The nurse's testimony is the final key to unlocking that divine judgment. Every moment of her suffering, every attempt to silence her, has only made the truth more unbreakable. Once it is spoken, it cannot be unheard. Once it is revealed, no darkness can ever hide it again.